if we could address you directly right now.
Everything comes full circle.
That's number one.
I don't tell him what questions to ask me.
There are a lot of people around town that have the same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm a good wash in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
You know, just keep going a little bit longer here, Mike. Keep going a little bit longer.
This is the Etan Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
What's going on, everyone? It's Wednesday. It's not Monday, but hey, we told you before that it might be some changes depending on our schedule. So we're here. It's another week of the Etan Devo Show. So welcome, E. What's up, man? What's been going on?
Oh man, just moving around, man. A lot of my daughter's volleyball going on, so that's what's been going on. It's been going good though. It's fun times.
Good, E. I'm gonna tell you this. I know you know how Syracuse weather is. So I was outside. I was doing some yard work. I'm thinking it's spring, and now I'm looking outside right now, and it's almost a half a foot of snow on the ground.
Oh,
so it's 20 degrees. So I was like, man, what's going on, man? Just give us a little bit of spring, man. I'm trying to feel, goodness, man. But, that's how Cuse is, man. It might snow on Mother's Day.
That's how it is. Yeah. That's how it is.
So, it's a lot going on, man, in the NIL space, and for Cuse on both sides. For basketball and football. We'll get to the football side, but let's jump into the NIL space for basketball. The portal closes next week, next Tuesday, on the 22nd. We haven't heard anything from Cuse besides the latest Nate George. So what do you think? What's going on with the donor? We've been hearing a lot about donor fatigue and things like that. So let's talk about and jump into that a little bit.
Well, I don't know so much about donor fatigue, but I mean, I like what we did in the portal. I do think, again, that we need another backup point guard. But I like what we did. I'm trying to think of how many positions we have open and what we're able to do. I just looking at everybody, I like Nate George. We talked about him before. I think Nate Kings can knock down the open shot, which we definitely need. We have to improve on our defense, though. So that's one thing, Nate George, if I had one knock on him, is that his defense really wasn't that great. Now, he led the ACC in, assists. He showed that he can score. What was that game against Clemson where he had 30-something points? They back-to-back wins against Louisville and Clemson. So he, I feel perfectly comfortable with as being the general of the team, of running the whole show. William Kyle, Ibrahim Sore, I think they are definitely big men that we needed in the way that they play. Active, can get out and run, can rim protect. You could throw a lob to. They could, pick and roll, everything like that. I think all that's good. Do we need like another player or two that would be good? But are we going to get another player or two? I'm not sure. I haven't really heard anything. But what are your thoughts on that?
So here's my thing, all right, and here's why I think they'll probably just get another big, honestly. First off, because you have Kai and Anthony coming in, right? And if you get another wing or a guy who is, top in the port, whatever it is, it puts him down the depth chart a little bit more, okay? He's coming in. Everyone obviously knows who his dad is. He has to play, E. So I think getting another wing is off the table because that's who's going to play. You got Nate Kings, you got obviously JJ on the perimeter, but then you have Kai and Anthony. He's going to come in and he's going to play. I don't care what people say if he's not ready. He's going to get 15 to 20 minutes a game, all right? And then you would think the other minutes would go to Kings and JJ out on the perimeter. Same thing with the point guard. I don't think they get a backup point guard because they got the kid coming in from Australia. He's unknown. A lot of people haven't heard of him. He's 6'5", 6'6". He's played in professional league already. So it's not like he's coming from high school. He's played in the NBL over in Australia, which we all know is they had the NBA Rising Stars with LaMelo Ball and all those guys. The competition is real out there. I played in that league, and the league just continues to get better and better. So I don't think they get another wing. I don't think they get another backup point guard because of those two reasons. Kyan has to play, and I think they have confidence in Fennell coming in and playing. And then another reason, I don't think they have the money. I just don't think, and right, that's a big reason. I just don't think they have the money to go ahead and get another big time guy. Maybe it's going to be a lot of IOUs.
IOUs. You know what? I mean, it's just brought up the money part, and that has been coming up a lot. And, we've been talking about it literally for weeks that we have to up our NIL, that we're going to be losing people. And you saw what just happened with football, where they lost somebody for the NIL. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Trevor Pena.
Trevor Pena, yeah. So they lost him to NIL, and everybody was upset. It was like, well, wait a minute now. If you have the money to be able to match whatever another team is offering them, then he probably wouldn't have left. Like that's going to happen. What happened with Trevor is going to happen with basketball. I guarantee it. You're going to see somebody come, and they're going to play well, and then another team is just going to outbid you. That's why we've been talking, as you have been preaching it every single week that we've been on here, that we have to up our NIL. If we do not, we're going to be in trouble. You've been saying it over and over again. And people have been tweeting you and saying, no, we have enough. Oh, Devendorf, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh,
right.
5 million is enough. What are you, all these different things. I'm like, no, y'all not understanding. Look at what other teams are doing. They're going, once you're here, doesn't mean you're just locked here for as long as Syracuse wants you here. You have to outbid other people. You are a free agent every single year. And people have to understand that. It's a 1-year deal. NIL deal that players sign is for 1 year. That means the next year they are free agents. So what Syracuse has to do is be able to at least match or go a little bit above in order to retain them. And if they don't, it's like any other job opportunity. If a different place is going to pay you more than the place that you're currently at, then you leave. It's not personal; it's business, and I think business. They're comfortable with that because now it's extending to players. They were comfortable because it was always like that with coaches. There's always like that with nearly everybody associated with the athletic program except for the players. But now it's extended to players, and now everybody's all uncomfortable with it. But this is the game that you have to. This is the new landscape, so you either have to learn how to play it, or you're going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah, and look, so we're talking about, obviously Syracuse isn't the, hottest destination. If you're looking for a great weather, or if you're looking for a lot to do, don't get me wrong. Like I love Syracuse. It's a great place to have a family and raise a family, but I'm going to the football player now, Pena, and we're talking about Syracuse and we're talking about Miami. Where would you rather spend, 6-7 months? Would you want to be in Syracuse, where it's 7 months of the year is winter, or would you rather be in Miami? And that's if like, all right, we're both at the same level with money. Now add on. All right, I'll give you 500,000 more. I don't care if you put me to Alaska. I'm probably going to Alaska for that 500,000 more, right? But now if we're like. But Syracuse is already at that disadvantage if you're the same money, but then the destination is a Miami or a Florida State. So, it just goes back to, look, I think Syracuse was already behind the ball with this NIL stuff, and I want to kind of get into a donor that they had, right, and that we were talking about off air, and Adam Weitzman, who was kind of like the NIL before the NIL, right? Like this is how it was going at Syracuse. This is how it is now, right? This is like bringing these celebrities and these familiar faces to the games. Just I think it gave Syracuse a little bit more credibility, or it made people a little bit more curious about Syracuse, not only the basketball program, but just Syracuse as a whole. And like, hey, look at what this guy is doing. It brought a lot of a good attention. I mean, I don't recall any bad attention that it really brought to the program. You know, I guess besides people wondering, hey, why is Tom Brady and Jimmy Fallon sitting courtside at a Syracuse basketball game? But that's not necessarily negative, right?
I agree. I mean, and the people that don't know, all the Syracuse fans will know, but everybody that's walking outside of Syracuse, we're talking about SU booster extraordinaire. I would say he was a super fan, but then he turned into a super SU booster, and he brought these celebrities to the games. He brought Jimmy Fallon, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, Melo, and they were courtside at the games. So
Giannis.
Giannis, he brought Giannis to the game.
Yeah.
So he was creating this special, unique atmosphere in the Dome. And he actually pledged, it was like $2 or $3 million of his own money to help recruit top talent. Like, that's what he said he was going to do. He said that he would guarantee that in the next 5 years that SU was going to be playing in the championship game or winning the championship or something like that he said. He befriended Coach Boeheim. You know, he went through the NIL to make sure that he was doing all the rules correctly, because remember, that was kind of at the beginning. Like, all the rules weren't really all the way set in yet. So he was going through SU compliance to make sure that he was doing everything correctly. And he really wanted to just do everything he could to really put SU on the map and create this almost Lakers atmosphere at the Dome, where you see these celebrities all in different places and everybody's taking pictures out, and this amazing atmosphere. And then something went wrong. And I don't know what went wrong. You know, you've heard different rumors that, Chancellor, Kent Subaru didn't really get along with him. Maybe thought he was doing too much. Maybe he wanted all the credit for, I don't know. You heard different rumors, but where we are right now with NIL, you got to think, should we be getting back on the phone with Adam Weissman or someone like him who is willing to, bankroll what it's going to take for SU to get to the place where all SU fans want us to be? Like, what should happen now?
Well, they should have been on the phone yesterday and a year ago. I mean, and trying to get him back. My whole thing is, how did it get to this point? I mean, like you said, we heard speculation, we heard rumors behind the scenes, whatever it is. It's a conversation between grown-ups. Like, if you, as the chancellor of the university or the AD of the athletic programs, it's a conversation. Hey, man, can you tone it down a little bit? Could we put this in here? Could we maybe go about it this way? Whatever it is, it comes down to a conversation, especially when a guy is trying to help your program and build it up. And I could be wrong, but when this was happening, I'm sure there was rumblings about this NIL coming up already. So now they're like, man, all right, well, we're we can get ahead of the game here. Rather than, kicking a guy out of the program or whatever it is. Hey, this is what's going to happen in a few years. We want to make sure we lock you up and we make sure that we have your funds or whatever it is, man. So all it had to be was a conversation between grown-ups, and then you'd have to come to a mutual agreement. And again, I don't see what really the problem was, rather than, all right, maybe he did want some of that attention. Maybe he did want to be recognized for. I think every donor would be like, if you're donating that much money, hey, a lot of people get their name on the building or they get their name on the court. I did a game in Dallas at SMU. The billionaire who is donating all the money to SMU's programs, he's sitting right there courtside, and guess what else? His name's right there on the court. So you're going to recognize the guy, or you're going to want to give him attention for what he's doing to your program. That's just how it works, So I don't know what happened, but E, to your point, I'm on the phone right now. You're trying to figure out for both programs. It's for basketball and football, right? Because look, Syracuse is not in a position where we live in a place where there's a bunch of billionaires around, right? And we're talking about, we're competing with, SEC schools. You're competing with, SMUs. There's billionaires all around in those areas, for whatever reason, the oil money, energy, whatever it is. So when you have a guy of that stature who wants to help out and he's in your area, I'm locking that in. I'm trying to lock in and I'm trying to make a phone call right now. Right, if I'm doing this show right now, as soon as I get off, I'm making a phone call. That's just how I would do it.
I mean, and it's crazy because he guaranteed now, he guaranteed that we would be in the championship in 5 years, right? So he was going to do everything in his power to get us there. He was going to bankroll whatever player. We're not going to have these NIL issues that we're dealing with now. Like, do we have enough money to get, like we were just talking about, we want to get another player. We're going to have enough money to even be able to afford it. All that would have been off the table because he would have made sure that we had enough money to recruit the top players. And for it to be a destination site for that reason. And we would have been on the forefront, like you said, before all the NIL stuff really settled in. So since he said that he was going to guarantee to do whatever it took to get us there in 5 years, we haven't been to the tournament since. We've missed 4 straight years of the tournament. So, it's just, sometimes you got to just put your pride to the side and say, you know what? I messed up. Let's come together. We're both adults and let's figure this out.
Let's figure it out. And E, before we go to break, I just want to tell you real quick, and this is like the value of the players that I saw in the portal and how much they'd be paid. So it said bench players are anywhere from 200 to 700,000. A 6-man is anywhere from 500 to $1 million, right? And then you got like a all league guy is for anywhere from 1 to 2 million, and then like an elite guy is anywhere from 3 to 4 million. Yeah, and look, everyone who's coming at me on Twitter talking about 5 million is enough, please let me know if 5 million is enough. We'll go to break and be right back.
Yeah, no, we can't afford it. That's why we can't afford nobody else.
Seriously, man. I mean,
that's what it is. We can't afford nobody else.
Y'all are feeding the trolls.
I know.
You guys are feeding the trolls.
We're feeding, but it's true though. They need to figure out how to get my man back.
Yeah, they do. But also, if he had given that amount of money, his name would be on something. Also, right?
What you mean?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Don't you think if he had done all this stuff that he was promising, he would have had his name on a building?
But he didn't get a chance to, though. Like, I thought that they kind of nixed it before he got the chance to do anything like that. I mean, remember, the NIL was really just forming. They didn't have to really settle in all the rules yet, so he couldn't. So
yeah, it was the year of it, but
the year of it, right?
I think they're both wrong. But it was just I think there's more to it than. The university basically just told him to kick rocks. I mean, no business is going to tell a guy willing to give you that much money to kick rocks, right?
Until you can tell me what was the reason, all we have to go by is that he offered and they said no.
Well, he flew too close to the sun with the NIL too, because
But he also was going through. And the compliance people will say this. He was going through all the channels to be able to see what he couldn't do and what he could do. So what he couldn't do, he didn't do that yet.
He got him on the radar with Choppa, and it.
Yeah, but Paulie, that happens all the time. That stuff. I mean, that's people. All type of people are flying close to the sun.
Yeah, but Syracuse isn't going to do that anymore. Syracuse has been on probation twice, man.
But that's why you go through the NIL. So you said before that if he had given all this money, then his name would have been on the thing. Well, he's going through the channels to make sure that he goes through it and does it properly.
I'm just saying there's two sides to every story.
I'd like to hear the other side. Let's hear the other side. I think that's fair. Why is it that you pushed him out? And then we don't have to speculate.
I think, Paulie, you need to get Severu, and sorry if I said his name wrong, and Wild Hack on the show and let him. Why isn't he here anymore?
Why isn't he here? That is a question. Let him explain.
I think all three of them should come on.
Oh yeah.
Look, hey guys, you got an hour to get it out. Adam, why aren't you a part of it? What happened? Severed? Why? Whatever it is, we just want to figure it out because now you're talking about all those stipulations and stuff that he couldn't do back then. You could do all that now. Anything's a go.
Yes, 100%.
Anything's a go.
Me making minimum wage interviewing 3 rich dudes, that'd be fun.
And this is your chance to, hey, can you please donate to the fund?
The Poly Fund?
The Poly Fund.
Yeah, you don't got to name it the Poly Fund. You just name it whatever you want to name, but you take it.
Let's make that pitch when we come back. Let's make that pitch when we come back, E.
I like
you go with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They. I mean,
Paying players, which was what he was going. Somebody, what?
What's somebody saying?
Wasn't it because of the players he brought were high? Oh, like when he brought Fab enough, and I guess they smelled like weed. That's what.
Oh yeah, the whole court reeked.
Yeah, was that the time though?
It was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he brought who?
He brought like Fabulous and a bunch of his people, and they smelled like weed.
Man, the stigma behind weed is changing. Melo just opened a weed dispensary in Syracuse. Weed is legal now. So you can't,
like their family.
that can't be the reason. It's not good enough.
No, it can't be. It can't be.
But it was 5 years ago, so
yes, okay.
And Eric Devendorf.
Hey, E, so we were off air, but we were just talking to Paulie and kind of going through everything with the Weitzman and why or why not or whatever it is. And then we have a pitch to make. So I'm going to let you go ahead and make the pitch, and I think it's a great pitch.
Well, no, I mean, Paulie's point was that there's two sides to every story. They didn't think it's just that, Weitzman wanted to do this and they just said no. So we haven't heard any other side. It doesn't make sense for somebody who wants to do all of this for Syracuse, who is bringing all the people in, who's creating this atmosphere, who wants to make sure that we don't have any NIL problems. And there's no reason given, just that, what I mean? The chancellor just said he didn't want to be bothered with him. He didn't want to be involved with him. And so that brought on a lot of speculation. I was saying, why? Was it an ego thing? Is it that he's asking what for his name on a building, or what was the reason why you said no? And I think the pitch is that let's have them explain their reasons. Adam wants nothing to do with Syracuse at all whatsoever anymore. And I don't think Silverwood really wants to talk about it, but this is what the people want to know. I was sent a video at least 12 different times by different Syracuse fans.
I'm sure real. Yeah.
That was a real showing, like, we had this. we had Weitzman that wanted to do this, and it was really well done. I got to give a shout out to whoever put the wheel together. If you know their name, we can give them a shout out for it. But
Aiden Media, I think it's Aiden Media, if I'm not mistaken.
Media, there we go. Aiden Media. Yeah. And the fans want to know, okay, why was this rejected when we need it? We wouldn't be having any of these NIL problems right now if we allowed him to actually help and do things the right way, which it seems like what he was trying to do to make sure, baby steps through compliance, because everything was just then starting. So why would we push him away? So I would like to hear Silverwood explain what were the reasons, and not just me. A lot of SU fans want to know what were the reasons why you pushed him away. Is it something that can possibly be reconciled? And if not, is there another booster that you have that can do what Weitzman was going to do? Because it is something that is needed.
And here's the thing: he actually, he hasn't separated himself from Syracuse all the way. I mean, he's involved in TBT Boeheim's Army this summer, and I'm gonna be on staff with the Boeheim's Army this summer. So I guess it's not Syracuse University, but it's still a connection. It's still representing Syracuse. So look, man, I know for a fact that he still wants to be a part of it in some way, somehow, right? But he just won't do it unless, the university reaches out, right? And look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think deep down that He still wants to help out. I mean, he still has friends in Syracuse. Obviously, he's still really good friends with Coach Boeheim. And again, he's going to be a part of the TBT. So there's going to be Syracuse University people in that building, cheering for the Boeheim's Army. And, he's the donor of that team or whatever it's going to be. So, look, I don't know. I don't care if it's on this show, Paulie and Steve, Kent, we're just asking you to come on and just kind of explain your side of the story, because there's so many rumors and speculations. And let's be real. This chapter is not ever going to be closed until we hear it. And it might not anyway. And the reason why is because you see what happened with football. That's going to keep opening back up to be like, why did we get rid of this guy? Why? Because now you could pay this guy, Fran Brown, who's actually coming on next, right, at 12:15 with Paulie and Steve to talk about the whole football ordeal. If we had Adam, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Right. And again, Syracuse isn't the hottest destination, but if you can up the ante with the money, look, this is just where we're at now, man. And you can't blame the kid. I sent a tweet to you, Justin Pugh, former Syracuse football player, and it made a lot of sense, man. Look, you can't blame the kid. Why are you blaming the kid if it wasn't just? And he said I guarantee you, it wasn't just 50,000 or 100,000. It was probably like almost 400,000 more, and I'm sure the number will come out. But he made a lot of sense. And then also on the tweet, he said, and I mentioned it earlier, donor fatigue. Like these people who aren't on, I guess, the level of a Weitzman or the donor at Miami or SMU, they don't want to consistently spend if they're not getting anything back. If the team's not going to be good, or if the kid is just going to be there for 5 months and leave. What am I giving my money for?
Well, that part I don't quite agree with, because it's a 1-year deal. So, and that's the part that everybody has to.
Well, they got to start doing some 2-year deals, E.
But they're not doing it yet. I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
But can you do it? Can you do that?
I don't know. They change the rules every, week. But
I'm not sure.
But and I know a lot of people, I know Paulie has as well, brought the point up that when coaches leave, they have a buyout that they have to do. And I've heard of that. I think it was FAMU that said something like that as well. And they said, so why doesn't a player have to have a buyout or something like that when they leave? The problem is they're only there for 1 year. It's a 1-year deal. So after they leave, after they finish the season, the deal is pretty much over with. So then it's the new deal the next year. So yeah, if they sign a 2-year deal, then that's different. I mean, you just have right now, you look at the Phoenix Suns, they're paying 3 different coaches that had long deals, and they fired them, but they still had years remaining on their contract. So they're still getting paid, and they had to do a buyout. That's not how it is with the players yet. You have a 1-year deal. So if they change it and say, okay, a player's gonna sign for 2 years or 3 years, then that's different. But right now, it's just a 1-year deal.
And I'm going to ask Paulie on our next break in a couple of minutes, because I don't think there's anything where you can't do 2-year deals. I mean, that'd be the smartest thing. A lot of these players, I know for sure, don't even have contracts. They don't have a lawyer involved. I mean, why wouldn't you do that if you're getting paid this amount of money? Why wouldn't you have a contract, and why wouldn't you have a lawyer? Not only for yourself, but for the team too, right? Like this now people are held accountable. If you leave, like, hey, all right, this is what happens. You have to give this amount back. Talking about a buyout, right? If the school, if they don't, if they skimp on a payment or whatever, boom, it's right here in the contract. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, why wouldn't that happen?
Well, a lot of players do have like representation, and they have actual contracts. I'm sure school to school it might vary, but in this day and age, I think more and more now we're understanding that every single player needs to have a representation of some type. Whether it's an agent or some lawyer or financial advisor or somebody to actually have an actual contract. You can't go by just a promise that a coach makes to you over the phone or something like that, or when they're on a Zoom or in front of your house to try to get you there. They'll say anything. Everybody knows that. Any athlete is known. Coaches will say anything. And then once you get there, they have amnesia. I didn't say that. That's not exactly what I said. Or they'll say maybe it was a miscommunication or something. They use words like that. You're like, no, I know what I heard. You said specifically this and this. But yes, every player, Like, let me be crystal clear. Every player has to have representation, and they have to have an actual contract with every single university, program, college that they commit to. Every single one. There's no excuse not to have a contract in this day and age. You know what I mean? You know what is going to happen, and you know everything has to be legally binding when you're dealing with any type of financial anything. So that's just the way that it's going to have to be, from this point on. But yes, there needs to be accountability on both sides, 100%. I know we had to go to a break, but I just want to say that real quick.
The 2025 NFL Draft.
Is he a lockdown corner? Is he a...
And here's my thing, E. I know players who don't have contracts.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know, that's what I said, because I know these guys aren't even looking at it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
They're not even looking. It's just crazy. Like, especially now, why wouldn't you have a lawyer look over everything, dude? Like, this is.
Yeah, you have to. Not even a question.
Not even a question. And just for all the people in the chat, we're saying all of this because we care about Syracuse University and we want the best for them. Like, why? I mean, we're just trying to figure out why. One of the biggest donors that you've ever had is gone. I don't know, and because I don't know, I've heard a lot of different things, but what are the facts out of it? I don't know. Like Paulie, we'd love to have him back, Paulie. We'd love to have him back. Just to be honest, man. I don't think we'd be talking about Trevor Pena leaving to go to Miami or wherever it is. Paulie, where's he going?
I think Miami. I heard Miami. Hey, maybe Paul's not there. Yeah, I heard Miami.
Yeah, so Sport Boy 3221 says NIL deals can be multi-year deals, but are not specifically tied to a certain institution. Collectives are tied to specific schools. Right, that's right. Like most, but now with the schools being able to pay, I think it's different, right? Because you're having the school pay you from that $20 million, but maybe that goes into the fund. I'm not really sure about all this. So, but Sport Boy, you're right about that, because most of these contracts are through a collective, an outside collective, whoever it is. And my thing too is I don't think hey, let's ask fans for $10 a month or
that
ain't working, dude. Man, that ain't working, dude. Stop with all that. Stop going on.
I thought
we had one of the guys. Go ahead, sir.
No, I thought that when I saw the commercial last year, when they rallied up the fans, okay, fans, let's give back. Let's get ready and get your. I was like, seems like there's a better way of doing this. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
On, man. No, especially in a blue collar town like Syracuse, man, it's just, and the way the economy is, man, that's who am I giving money to? A kid that's going to leave 1 year after. I don't even know this kid. I can't even. They can't even relate to the kid or get to know the kid. Like when we played they had us for at least two to 4 years, so they felt like they knew us, right? And like, all right, if I'm trying to help out, at least I know the kid. I'm not sure, man. But that's look, that $5, $10 a month, man, they ain't doing nothing, man.
They ain't doing it. All right.
They ain't doing nothing. You got to figure out a different way.
Yeah.
For real. That's not it.
Tennessee charges 10% on everything at games now.
So who said it again, Paulie?
Tennessee has put a 10% NIL surcharge on everything at games. So you're basically charging fans more for concessions, tickets, everything, and it all goes to NIL.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a better way, maybe,
It's the same thing, though. You're just taking the money from $5 from a guy who works his ass off for tickets, and
Yeah, it is the same thing, but is it kind of like, I guess they're saying it differently or something?
You're not asking, you're just making it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They're not asking, hey, we're just going to let you guys know the food and the prices are going to be going up, and 10% of that is going to NIL. If you don't like it, don't come to the game.
Yeah, basically, that's what they did.
Yeah.
1-800-LAW-1010. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1, 1200 AM and 1440 AM. This is the Etan and Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
I wanted to ask you, have you been watching the playoffs? The NBA playoffs started, and it's really interesting, and I'm excited to watch all of it, but I was watching the Warriors and the Grizzlies. Great matchup, a great game. Anybody that didn't see the game, Warriors won. Jimmy Buckets, was fantastic in the game. Steph was Steph, shooting from everywhere. I still don't understand why they're not playing Kuminga, but it was a fantastic game. But there were so many bad calls during this game. Not that they were cheating for one team. I know the Warriors shot a lot more free throws. I think Jimmy Butler and Steph alone shot more free throws than all the Grizzlies combined, But not even talking about that. The refs just made incorrect call after incorrect call. Like, there's too much technology for refs to make this many clearly wrong calls. Like, I think the refs, and this is my opinion, I think the refs should be fined when they make a bad call. And everybody should know. Like, it should be publicly broadcasted. If they're going to hold players accountable for every possible thing, down to the velocity of their toss of the ball back to them, you know what I mean, after a made basket, or if they roll their eyes, or if they shake their heads, or clap after a missed call, they should hold them accountable for their bad calls as well. And they should get fined. That's my opinion. Like, hold everyone accountable. Because this is the thing. If you don't, it threatens the integrity of the game. And there are always questions in the heads of fans. Like, everyone. Like, oh, is the fix in? Are they cheating for this team or that team? And nobody forgot what Tim Donaghy said. I read his book. And I'm not saying the allegations are true, or I'm not saying, the NBA is putting the fix in again. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that they should have full transparency and let everybody know that they're doing everything in their power to uphold the integrity of the league, and that includes holding the refs accountable.
I'm bored 100%. Why are you going to the monitor and looking at it for 7 minutes and still getting it wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you even have the monitor? And especially if it's an easy call, like, right? A foul is when you get hit. A block shot is when you block the ball, right? That's a simple call, and they're getting them wrong. And this isn't. And we'll go back to specifically the Grizzlies and the Warriors game. This is a play-in game. To get into play, like, this means something. So these calls mean something. And for everybody out there, if you don't know, when you get in the playoffs, and obviously, playing in the NBA for a long time, when you get into the playoffs, that means more money for you as a player and as a team. And tell me if I'm wrong, E, but each round, I think it gets, and there's a little bit more money, right?
Right.
So this isn't just like they're trying to, man, forget Steph and Draymond and those guys. They're getting $35 million a year. Like, right, that little bit doesn't really matter. I'm talking about the guys on the end of the bench who are getting the league minimum, right, or getting the $450,000 or whatever. Man, that little $25,000 or $100,000, that's a lot to them. So, like, when you get these calls wrong, man, you're taking away people's paychecks. Right, a lot of the time. And E, I don't know if it's because the gambling has become at an all-time high, or you talked about Tim Donaghy. Man, best believe that stuff's going on. And how it's going on, the naked eye would never see it. You would never really see it. Like, you'd be like, oh man, he's gambling on the game. They're not going to make it to where you could really tell, right? Like,
That's the problem, though, with some of these calls, that looking back, even when you see them on SportsCenter and they slow it down, you're like, right. Oh, Lord, terrible call. So that just puts in the fans' minds, why would they make this blatantly wrong call? And then the fan goes to, oh, is the fix in? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying that the NBA could do this, and that could help with the integrity. That could show everybody that the NBA is doing everything in their power to be able to get this right. And that means also holding their refs accountable. Even if it's just for show, you know what I mean? Just that is what that's what's communicated to the fans, because right now what's communicated is don't criticize the refs, don't say anything about the refs, don't, you know what I mean? And the refs are untouchable, and everything that they do is fine. That's not the right thing to
say. I'm taking it to another level real quick.
Okay.
DraftKings, all these other gambling sites, if I'm not mistaken, they have partnerships with the NBA.
Yeah.
Or and the ESPN. That's where it's become like they're promoting these sites, these gambling sites. So you can't tell me like the head of that gambling, DraftKings or whoever, isn't talking with Adam Silver. And they don't. I don't want to go there.
It looks
well.
bad.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't want to take it there because I would never want that to happen to the game. But in sports in general, like, it's billions of dollars a year that these companies are making because they're having these partnerships with these sports leagues. So look, man, it's happening. I don't care what you tell me, man. It's happening. Yeah, even if it's like a little bit like, hey, I need you. I don't know if it's necessarily with the players or if it's more so like with the ownership. Man, it's happening.
You don't even want that going through the fans' minds. You know what I mean? Like, it already is. So just do something to help. The perception of that. That's one thing. But let me ask you, who do you like in the playoffs? Because the playoffs are going to be great all around. Like, who's one team that you're really watching?
Lakers.
Really?
I mean, I just think, going back to when we were talking about that trade, I was all the way wrong. I'm just going to be real. I was all the way wrong about Luka.
I'll say myself, I was right there with.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I didn't know how it was going to work, but it's almost like, when LeBron wants to turn it on, he can turn it on still. He still has that capability, but it's more so like Luka's in that dominant role, I guess I would say, and he's played great, and I see they're playing the Timberwolves, and you got Anthony Edwards, and Timberwolves are solid. The Lakers are going to beat the Timberwolves. They don't have when they lost Cat, that was it.
I don't know. I wouldn't just look past them though. What I saw Anthony Edwards do last year in the playoffs was really impressive. He took it to a whole different level. Yeah, I wouldn't just write them off like to look past it. I think it's going to really be a dogfight. The Lakers are going to have to really, strap it up and really shine in this to really get past the Timberwolves. I don't think it's just they're going to get past them all easily.
Okay, now, and this is where I'm going back to why this gambling stuff is real. They want to see Lakers and Celtics.
Of course they do.
They want to see Lakers and Celtics. It's just bringing more money in for everybody as a whole. Now, do I think that they could beat the Thunder? Man, Thunder are really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really, really good. And they're either going to play. Who is it? Who has the playing game? I just saw it. I know it's the Heat in the Bulls in the East, but who's on the West for that last? Oh, it's Sacramento and Dallas.
Dallas, right?
Sacramento and Dallas. So I mean, the Thunder will take care of business, but man, I'm just going out on a limb. I think the Celtics go through the East. I don't think they're going to have any problem.
Look past Cleveland. Cleveland's been looking good too. I think Cleveland might be the only team that could really challenge the Celtics. I grew up a Knicks fan. I would love to say my Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to have their hands full with Detroit. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I want them to keep going, but I think Cleveland is the only team that could really challenge the Celtics, and I hope that they do. But like you said, do they want to see Cleveland in the finals?
What's my man's name at Detroit again? The coach, because what's his name? I forgot.
I forgot too.
Man, forget. You know what? But he should be up for Coach of the Year. I mean, just from
yeah.
Oh man, he I think they won like 18 games last year or something was like that.
Yeah.
But the turnaround and it's real when you instill your culture and you get the guys to buy in. This is what happens. It was like a complete 180 from last year to this year for the Pistons. And I grew up in Michigan. I was always a Pistons fan, watching Isaiah, Joe Dumars, Vinnie Johnson. You know about those teams. Go back to Bill Laimbeer and when they were beating up Jordan. And then even like in the years with Chauncey and Rip and Ben Wallace. And that's when you were in the league, E. So I'm a Pistons fan. I hope they go as far as they can.
I grew up a Knicks fan, so I was with Patrick Ewing, and Charles Oakley, and John Starks, and Anthony Mason, and that whole era. Like that was, and even when they had Sprewell out in Houston and all of them, that was, I was a fan of the Knicks. So I'm gonna be rooting for the Knicks in this series. I know you're gonna be rooting for Detroit, but it's gonna be a great series.
Yeah, it'll be a great series. E, let's take a quick break and then we'll come right back.
The 315.
That's true. Okay, Pena rumored to Miami or Texas Tech. Okay.
Yeah. I thought Miami, but yeah.
Tennessee Rabid fan base will pay that 10% surcharge. Not sure SU fan base would. That's true. That's true, man. I'm telling you.
No. I will say this: if they're winning, like they can't put that in there when we're not making the tournament. You know what I'm saying? They'll have to put that in there once we're rolling. So if stuff goes good next year and we're rolling and you know what I mean, everything goes, then you can put that in there. But you can't put it in there now. It's gonna be an empty arena.
And look, it all comes down to how you market it and how you present it to people. Seriously, like
No,
I think so. Like marketing is huge, dude. Paulie, let me hear it. Paulie. I heard that.
I was at Notre Dame during basketball season, and I went up to get a Diet Coke during the game, and they said, "Hey, I'm blah 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 from the swim team. I'm working for free today. Nice to meet you. We accept tips, but it goes to the Notre Dame NIL fund." so that's how Notre Dame was doing it too. They were just saying, "Hey," they had athletes out working at the kiosks and were asking for tips, and it was going to their NIL.
So you're trying to make me feel bad. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make people feel bad.
I ended up donating to Notre Dame's NIL. So.
Yeah, the athletes out there working.
So it worked. That's their plan. Hey, we're going to make you feel as guilty as we can. I'm working for free. I don't have any money. Will you donate to our NIL fund so I can have some money?
Well, I can have some money.
And again, you said Notre Dame, Paulie, and I know we talked about it. It's in South Bend.
Yeah.
They better get real creative with their marketing. Because Syracuse, South Bend, I'm going Syracuse. So South Bend is look, nobody wants to be in South Bend, man.
Yeah. It's cut like my first year at SU was Etan's senior year, and it's come a long way since then, man. Like Notre Dame there was nothing there when we first started going there.
Yeah, I went there like 3 times this year, I think. And they got a couple. They got like coffee shops downtown, but yeah, it's not much going on.
It was just a hotel back then, though. It was like our hotel, and that was it. There's a Buffalo Wild Wings next to it, and that was it.
Yeah, South Bend is tough, man. If people, that's a tough area.
Yeah, I don't know how they have such a major football program and only like when the football program when SU plays at Notre Dame, they have to travel like an hour out because there's not enough big hotels for the football team to stay at in South Bend. There's only like one big hotel there.
So where they stay in Chicago?
We stayed in Washington, like Illinois.
Hey, how much time do we have when we come back?
1 minute would put you at 49, so 6 minutes.
6 minutes. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to hit quick when we come back?
Real quick. Let me see what I'm good with what I want to go for the who's the MVP for the NBA.
Yeah, who do you got? Who you make the case for?
Man, Jokic, man.
Make your case.
I would say Shea. I mean, but dude, this dude Jokic is. Come on, man. Some of those numbers is just ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. I mean, it's hard to.
Tom, were you on the team when John Marzak was the manager and he got hit by the taxi cab while we were waiting outside the Garden?
I heard about it. Yeah, I heard about it.
No one brings you more Syracuse basketball coverage. We are live and local.
I don't want to laugh at
Galaxy
that, but
Media
dang.
Partner Station, ESPN Radio Syracuse. This is the Etan Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back, everybody. So look, we got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to get you a take on the NBA MVP this season. So it's really a two-man race, right? It's either Jokic or Gilgeous-Alexander, right? And I told you on break what who my MVP is. It's got to be Jokic. It's got to be Jokic. And look, I'm just looking at the stats because I do want to, back my case up a little bit, right? Hold on real quick. Let me get to the Jokic. So, I mean, it's just, dude, he's averaging 29 points a game, right? Almost 30. So I'm going to round it up. Look, this is what I was taught. If it's over 5, then I'm rounding up, all right? So it's 26 or 29.6. So he's averaging 30. He's shooting 58% from the field, 80% from the free throw line. All right. So he's top 5 in scoring, I believe, right? He's averaging 12.7 rebounds, right? Almost 10 defensive rebounds and 3 offensive rebounds per game. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Double right there. And then he's averaging, don't forget, he's 7 feet. He's playing the center position. Okay. He's averaging 10.2 assists per game. All right. And 3 turnovers per game. And he's playing 37 minutes a game. All right. I mean, you're averaging a triple double in the league, right? The last person to do it, who was it? Westbrook?
Mm-hmm.
Westbrook, but he wasn't doing it like this. This is this is a different level triple double that he's averaging, like a monster. Like we're going back to Oscar Robertson, right? I mean, this dude Jokic, what he's doing, and again, he's doing it. He's never had an NBA All-Star on his team when he was playing another NBA All-Star. That's what I heard. Because Jamal Murray, he's a great player, but he wasn't. I don't think he's ever been an all-star while he was playing with Jokic. Man, if you take Jokic off that team, they're bottom of the conference, dude.
Yeah,
they're bottom of the conference. This dude's having triple double, 61, 22, and 20. Man, that's NBA 2K game. That's but that's my case, man. Like the dude's unreal. And for me, man, he got to be a top 3 center all time.
I can't find it.
Yeah, I know you're going through. There's a lot. We got Olajuwon, we got Shaq, we got Kareem. Man,
Kareem, you got Will. But regardless, I can't fight what you're saying about the MVP. I can't even fight it. So I can't even make a case. Shea's been great, but I can't make a case, against Jokic getting the MVP this year. But let me say, I know we only got a little bit left. I want to give a quick shout out to my guy Steve Kerr. A lot of respect for him. I was able to interview him for my book, We Matter, Athletes and Activism. He's one of the coaches that really used his position and platform to speak out on different things. And it's always, that different element for coming from coaches. And so yesterday after the game, they played Grizzlies, he wore a Harvard shirt during the press conference. And this was a statement. I have a statement here. He said, "I believe in academic freedom. I think it's crucial for all of our institutions to be able to handle their own business the way they want to. And they should not be shaken down and told what to teach, what to say by our government. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And I got to give him props for that. You know what I mean? Using his position, he don't have to talk about that, after the win. They just had this big win. They're going to be playing Houston, next round and everything like that. And he deliberately wore his Harvard shirt to make that statement. And he's always been that kind of a coach. So just want to give a quick shout out to Steve Kerr. Much respect to you.
Who's another guy in the league that would be like a Steve Kerr? And it just popped in my mind real quick when you were saying that was Greg Popovich.
Definitely.
Or used to be in the league. Like those two guys really spoke their mind. And look, when you're playing basketball at that level, whether you like it or not, you have a big platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what you say matters a lot. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And just, obviously you want to represent yourself well and you represent the organization well. But I think the biggest thing is you want to represent freedom. Right. And freedom of speech, freedom of movement, whatever it is, man. That's what America is. It's freedom. When you think about America, you want to be able to have that freedom. And you're right. I think to be able to speak on that in a time right now where they're getting ready for the playoffs and a playoff game, it speaks to Steve Kerr and what type of person he is. In the back of his mind, he always said, look, I'm blessed to be able to coach in the NBA and be a part of the game of basketball, but it's a lot more serious things going on in the world. So for him to be able to use his platform in a good way, kudos to you, Coach Kerr.
Definitely. So that's it for this week, man. Great that the hour goes by so quick. You know what I mean? But yes, hey, Adam Weissman conversation. Yes, we need to get on that and figure out what we need to do. But thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll be back next week for more of the Etan Devo Show.